Tov, everyone. We continue with our 3-minute daily dose of Torah. We're looking today at the Gemara, which wants to discuss what happens if a beitzah, if an egg is laid on one day of Rosh Hashanah, can you eat it the next day? In principle, as long as it's still Yontif, you wouldn't be allowed to do that. If you're starting Masechet Beitzah now, you'll be learning this more in detail. But if one day is Yontif and the other day is not Yontif, and in the actuality, then you'd be allowed to eat the egg from one day to the other, which then begs the question, well, what is the status of Rosh Hashanah and the 2 days of Rosh Hashanah? And that apparently is a matter of dispute. In the Gemara, hold on a second. In the Gemara, they quote Rav and Shmuel's opinion, who say that the egg laid on one day is still forbidden on the next day, which would make it sound like, and here we use the principle, that it's a Yoma Arichta and Kedusha Achas. It's one long day and a single Kedusha to them, so you wouldn't be allowed to have the egg. That's the principle. And that's how in the end we follow. The Gemara then goes to say the following, that Nan, you should know, this is how things came about. It quotes the Mishnah. Initially, they accepted witnesses for the new moon all day. Understand the challenge. Rosh Hashanah happens on the new moon. How do you know it's the new moon? Only when witnesses come. What happens if it's the afternoon of Rosh Hashanah, right? And witnesses haven't come, so we don't even know how to behave. The afternoon of the day you think should be Rosh Hashanah, but witnesses haven't come, so how are you behaving the whole time? Right? What do you do? So the answer is you don't do any malacha, presumably out of concern, but how do you act positively on this day? So Gemara says, one time the witnesses waited a long time. They came pretty late, and because of that, the Leviim messed up what Shir Shel Yom they were saying. There was a special psalm that was sung on Rosh Hashanah, and they said the wrong one. And so Hitkinu Shelo Yom Mekablim as a Edom El Mincha. They made a rule you could only accept witnesses up until Mincha time, and afterwards they would simply I'm sorry. And if they came later than that, they would treat both days as Kodesh. So Yom Kodesh and Machar Kodesh. That day and the next day, Kodesh. Right? You understand the problem. How many days should there be Rosh Hashanah? And the answer is, of course there should only be one day of Rosh Hashanah. But something happened. And we'll continue this, God willing, tomorrow.